Yeah, I think in politics and for a lot of talk show hosts, they take themselves too seriously. And you have to learn as young people that you have to laugh at yourself and do not be upset when others are laughing at you. So I think I've learned how to laugh at myself. And then I also recognize that politics, and particularly if you're a talk show host, there has to be some level of entertainment as opposed to how people they're just tense and so forth, right? There has to be entertainment while providing credible information. And like Hubert Ingram tells me when he asks me to be his spokesman, which I jumped to be because I just love talking in his name and upsetting ministers, right? He says, listen, you can talk even when I didn't tell you, subject to one condition. Do not tell a lie, which is important in journalism. And
Yeah.
I'm not a journalist, I play.
Journalist.
Yeah. You see?
Yeah.
And that's my way of mocking them.
But yeah, but I think probably a bigger marker is like them videos. You know, I just remember another video, like, you know, when you were saying you was hiding from menace, like plenty of people be like, when they trying to get away from it, they play that same clip, I am hiding. I'm
On
hiding.
Facebook too.
Pardon?
I think he went live on Facebook too
Yeah.
when he was in hiding. I
Yeah.
remember.
so it's almost like, you know, you almost, I mean, because we live in this age where we have Bahamian socialites now, but it's like you're the oldest one
Okay.
or whatever. But it's like, you know, so everything you do is like it's memeable, or everybody, like you say, kiki kiki kiki. Like, you know, that's really the undertone for it. But you know, but yeah, that's why I was like, after that conversation 2 years ago, I always wanted an opportunity to, like, you know, sit down with you and, like, you know, get the whole backstory of how you go about things from the political side to the broadcast side, you know, because I always like to understand how things work. And, like, you know, my desire for knowledge always leads me on that path to try to figure it out.
Well, it's always important to have a good appreciation of the history of your country, even that history that people think you should not know. It's important to know that, according to historian Christopher Columbus, discovered the Bahamas on the 12th of October, 1492, notwithstanding that there's this new argument that he could not have discovered it because there were people here. You still need to know that. You need to know as much of the history because it gives you a better appreciation from where the country came from to where it is. So if you are armed with that history, if you are armed with the modern Bahamas history, you then get to understand the Brent Simonet. You get to know that Brent Simonet father, who was the first Negro premier of the Bahamas, that every year he put in the country's budget work for himself. And so Brent has inherited that. And so hence we have this situation where this controversy is taking place over the fact that this major conflict of interest, Minnis thinks there's none. And he thinks there's none because for 5 years, when he became Minister of Health between 2007 and 2012, he had a contract for his clinic, Start Care, which he got in 2002 under the PLP. But he was qualified to get it because he was not a member of the parliament. But 5 years later, Ingram appoints him Minister of Health, and he could not see that something was wrong for him to be maintaining a contract as Minister of Health with himself. You follow my point?
Yeah.
And that continued from 2002 right up to 2017 when he became Prime Minister, and shortly thereafter, Dr. Dwayne Sands announced that he had discontinued it. And when people criticized him, he suggested that his company was separate from him, even though the company was owned by him and his wife. All right? So this is a case where in other societies, he would have been forced to resign. But but you're dealing with a bunch of Negroes who don't understand the system, don't have no respect for themselves, and then you're dealing with a youthful population who seems not to realize that they have a duty to defend the country by writing on social media, writing letters, and organizing peaceful protests against those things. And the best time to do it is while you are young.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So on that note, I think this was a good episode. Carson Neeg was thoroughly entertained. I hope y'all, reconciled.
I think we reconcile. I think we reconcile.
You
Yes, the Kalmas.
the Kalmas.
Yes, the Kalmas.
The chairman is not good. Carl Kalma.